wonderful discussion going on. Because of the number of tables we have, unless you have a number 2 point or a number 3 point that's riveting, we may ask you to just give 1 grade point. With that, we're going to begin with this table. Allison?
Hi, just one point that we talked about at our table was the golden rule and reiterating that, but also being very intentional about it and leading by example. So that's everyone in an organization from the top down.
Thank you.
I'm Andrew, and our table, I think, 3 simple words: authenticity. It's really easy to tell if someone does this for the right reasons, whether they don't. And the fact that companies that do well at this are people that get their employees to internalize the values. It's not just something that you do because you have to, but because you really believe in it. And also the fact that these kind of things breed loyalty, regardless of what your field is, regardless of where you're working and where you are in the company. It's going to breed loyalty, not only with your customers, but also your employees.
So kind of a lot of resonating points amongst our table, but the biggest one was about the emotional storytelling and all the positives that can come out of that. And then also we really liked the celebrating the goodness within the group instead of focusing on the negatives, especially given recent political issues.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Colin Urchel. So our group, we had quite a few points, but one that really stuck out was to be the person to initiate, and to, if you see somebody that's looking for a relationship, to try and initiate and to build that. But be careful not to have any expectations of how they should receive you, but just be open and be willing to initiate. Lead by example and be compassionate.
Excellent, Colin.
I'm Jeremy Bach. We had also some of the same things mentioned, just highlighting 3 here, the importance of the corporate storyteller. We think back to anybody that's probably had the most impact to you. If you think of a teacher, someone who's always been able to tell stories and relate it to what the points they're trying to get across. Reminded us of the show that maybe we've seen, Undercover Boss. When have they gone out? They've captured stories. It's the same thing we're talking about here, but how that's gone on to inspire their people. So it's really important to find out who is the right person to do that for your group. We also like the interview, but we thought one step that before those questions at the interview is you as an organization to have a clear laser focus on what you are, your core values, core focus on what you are, and having that clearly identified. And I don't know if I put words in Quick Trip's mouth here, but I do believe that they say they're a grocery store that sells gas, not a gas station that sells groceries. And so knowing who clearly you are and the impact that, so that when you are interviewing, you're asking those questions, you know exactly what you're looking for and the culture you're trying to build.
Good afternoon, I'm Mickey Wagner, and our group came up with several points. One of the first points was treat your employees well and things will fall into place, which was, I think, one of the statements. Put the mission first and the margins will come. And as part of that, we have a supplier to Quick Trip right here that he also says not only do they treat their employees well, they treat their suppliers well too. So it comes around that way. And just one other one is the recognition. Just making sure that you do recognize the employees, the small things, and that includes putting teachers and students a capital T, capital S for some of the schools.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Jerry Schuster from here at MSOE. Our group had a wonderful discussion too, and we're so happy to have been here. Start your meeting out with how are you being? What's your being doing today? Because somebody's coming home with a lot of baggage, maybe things like that. And also check in to your emotional intelligence. What's going on with you today? I just want to share a quick story that relates to Mary Spencer, who has been very special to me. My husband, an electrical engineer, during the downsizing back in 2009, had lost his job as an engineer, and it was really tough on him. And I was like, come on, I'm trying to emotionally heal him. And I was sharing the story with Mary, and she goes, send him to me. So I sent him to her, and it's amazing. If you're open to the signs, they're all around you. He's now back working, traveling around the world. It's all good. But she really helped it at that time. So be open to your coworkers.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, Dave Brozovich with AVM, and we talked about to implement servant leadership, you really have to have somebody as a champion in the organization first, and then dialogue about the fear with the upper management. Address the fear, be upfront about it, and say, listen, this could be scary because you're giving up your command and control, but by doing that, you're actually going to create more power for yourself because you're empowering others. So that's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent.
I'm Jensen Ritzo. I'm a student here at MSOE. Our group talked a lot about feelings over facts, so with the storytelling, making sure that it's not just going with like your statistics, it's also about what you feel, what you want others to feel, and how you can get your stories across.
Wonderful.
I'm Art Flater. You can't tell the difference when I'm standing or sitting. We had a pretty contentious discussion. A couple of the ladies here have really dirty mouths. I was very surprised by that. But I think we got a couple good things out of it. Yeah, I didn't call anybody out specifically. We talked about the Greenleaf model versus the gospel model of servant leadership, and tried to say that attempting to implement this requires more action than it does require talk, unfortunately. And we had an example here where somebody who talked about servant leadership in their organization, but didn't really follow through with servant leadership. And the real key, we think, to servant leadership is the emotional intelligence, the ability to have the emotional intelligence to maybe have the empathy to implement servant leadership. And then we stop swearing at each other after that.
Hi, I'm Tyler Ibben. The main points our group talked about was how servant leadership is really a long-term goal. Command and conquer can be really useful and effective short-term, but as far as long-term go, it leads to a lot of downfalls, and a lot of those come from, the either business to business or business to customer. Because if you focus on those points, you can make a very effective leader that you can eventually manage via either revenue, turnover, things like that.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm EJ Hare. I'm with Mortensen Construction. This is my first time attending a servant leadership event, so we had quite an interesting group here at the table I was seated at. We have people representing the public sector, private sector like myself, education, and government. So I think we talked and touched on, I think, a number of the points that others have shared with us so far today. I think my big takeaway, I think the group's in agreement with me here, is probably more so looking at how you approach things. I mean, life's about choices, how you do business, how you engage with one another. So it's really the choice to how you approach, achieving a common goal, whether that's being profitability, whether that's being, serving people, helping people, educating people, whatever the case may be. It's just, again, how you decide to engage with one another in order to reach your goals. And I think that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Krista. I'm from Fond du Lac. And our table, the theme that emerged was bridging, using servant leadership as a bridge to personal relationships. We have a number of students at our table, and they talked about how servant leadership has helped them to get over that engineering stereotype and form friendships and have personal relationships, but also the bridge specifically here at MSOE of how it's taken servant leadership out into the campus community, but into the community in general through some of the projects that they've been able to work on. So bridging became the theme.
Thank you, Kristen.
Hello, my name's Andy Armstrong, and I am a first-timer as well, and it's been a great session, so thanks to everybody who puts this together. We talked at our table a little bit about what you do when you're in a little enclave in a business that the business is not servant leadership, but you are and your group is, and how you manage that. And oddly enough, 3 of the 4 of us at this table had had that experience. So we learned that there can be risk, there can be opportunities, but the servant leadership tools really guide you well through the process. Empathy, understanding, patience. Use those tools and usually you can get through the steps that need to take place.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Beth Slayman from MSOE, and my table was Beth and the speakers. So we spoke about servant leadership in organizations, and one of the comments or one of the insights that I'd like to share with you is that so many organizations, they have mission statements, and they're words that are posted on a wall somewhere. They have someone come in, they write some words, and they plaster them on the wall, but that's pretty much it. In a servant-led organization, the mission statement is really the core of that organization. The business is there and really lives that mission statement. So that was one of the main comments I wanted to share with you.